What is going on, everybody? It is your girl Marquita. I'm with Team TRM coming at you today with another Novatech FX video. Now, normally on Wednesdays, I would do an update. I would share any news that we have, but of course, we haven't had any news. I still wanted to provide you some form of value today. So as you can see on the screen here, we're going to talk Novatech receivership. This is going to be what to expect if the government actually steps in and decides to handle Novatech FX. So as time passes and there seems to be no further updates from Novatech, there are many people looking for alternative ways to cut their potential losses from the company. One of those ways is by seeking help from government agencies like the SEC, the FBI, the DOJ, and others. I've had a few people who are unaware of how this process would work, and I wanted to make a video regarding what we could reasonably expect if these agencies actually step in. The next slides are based on my prior experiences that I've had with my first MLM way back in the early 2000s, and from what I've seen, the process seems to follow similar paths if agencies decide to step in. Initially, the agency that steps in will put out an official notice saying that they feel something illegal has transpired, and they'll actually cite what they feel is happening based on all of the complaints that they've gathered and reviewed. This notice will look similar in some ways to the cease and desist or refrain notices that we have been seeing Novatech receive over the last couple of months. However, the notice will be more formal and have a more definitive tone, meaning it will read as if the company has already been found guilty of a crime. Once the notice is put out, there will be a person appointed as what's called the receivership for that government agency that is in charge. This person is tasked with finding as many funds as they can, as fast as they can, and seizing those assets. They hire people to actually come through all of the company records. And in this case, it would likely also include the blockchain and the transactions connected to Novatech as well. During this process, the receivership will open up a website for all victims to submit a claim for the potential to get the funds back that they feel that they've lost. And so that claim will be on a website, and you'll have everybody who feels that they are victims filling out the information. Now, each member will be asked for all of the data that can be used to identify themselves. So that's usernames, the amount they feel that they're owed, their wallet addresses, etc. As claims are filled out, the receivership now has proof that the company has done wrong by all of the victims filing claims and complaints, which is then added to the official notices and filings that they have, and you usually are able to follow the proceedings. There'll be a website that the receivership provides to you for updates. And at this stage, more investigation needs to be done to verify that the claims that are now submitted are actually factual and accurate. The receivership may begin to subpoena exchanges like Coinbase, Binance, etc. for records of crypto deposits and fiat cash outs, and that would be on the side of Novatech and also the side of the members. So let's talk winners versus losers. Once the full investigation starts and transactions begin to get uncovered, the receiver starts to file members of the company into two categories. We have net winners or we have net losers. Now, what is a net winner? A net winner is a person who has deposited in Novatech from external wallets like Exodus, Binance, Gemini, KuCoin, Cash App, whatever the external wallet is, minus the withdrawals. That would show a profit, and this does not ever take into account any compounds you've done, any business expenses or fees that you may have incurred, any transfers or taxes that you may have paid. None of it matters. A net loser is the opposite of a net winner. So this person would have deposits from an external wallet like Exodus, KuCoin, Gemini, Binance, Cash App, Uphold, it doesn't matter. But if you take that minus the withdrawals, it would actually show a loss. Now, again, this does not include any compounds you may have done, any business expenses or fees you may have incurred, any transfers, or any of the taxes you may have paid either. Let's look at an example. if you put in a few deposits from your external wallets, again, Exodus, Coinbase, Binance, etc., and it totaled $1,000, but you then withdrew during the time that you've been with Novatech $1,200, you are considered a net winner of $200. Now, let's look at this in picture form. So we have John on the screen here. John went ahead and he made some deposits from his Coinbase account, one in 2019, one in 2020. Each of those were $250. Then he made a deposit in September of 2020 from his Binance account of $300, and he did two from his Exodus account in 2021 for $100 each. So he actually put in $1,000 from external sources. John, during the course of being with Novatech, also did a $500 withdrawal to his Coinbase account in 2020. He also did a $300 withdrawal to his Binance account in September of 2020, and two withdrawals to his Exodus account, one for $300 and one for $100 in 2022. And so he took out $1,200. So that makes him a net winner of $200. Now, many people have been saying, well, no, that's not my balance. I actually have an ROI that I use $40,000 of my ROI to upgrade internally. So I went in my back office, I took the money that was earned each Friday and I upgraded my account. That totaled $40,000. I also was building a team. So I have commissions that were actually put in and upgraded as well. So that totaled $50,000, and my trading balance is actually $90,000. Well, the receivership or government agency does not care about that. They're looking at money in versus money out. So a net loser is someone who made deposits from their external wallets, again, collected from KuCoin, Binance, Gemini, etc., but did not collect enough to break even or profit from the opportunity. Again, this does not include compounded numbers, any of your business expenses or fees, or any of the taxes that you paid. So let's look at an example. You deposited a total of $1,000 from your external wallets, again, Exodus, Coinbase, Binance, KuCoin, Gemini, etc. And during the time of the company, you actually withdrew $800. So you would be considered a net loser for $200. Let's look deeper into that. So here we have Joe on the screen. Joe made the same deposits that John did. So from his Coinbase, he did $500 in two separate deposits. To his from his Binance account, he did a $300, and then from his Exodus account, he did a total of $200 for $1,000. Now, the difference is that Joe actually only made two withdrawals in the entire time that he's been with Novatech. So from his Coinbase, he actually withdrew $500 to his Coinbase in 2021, and he withdrew $300 from his Binance to his Binance account in 2021 as well, for a total of $800. That means that he's a net loser for $200. Well, some people will say, well, no, that's not all that I lost, because I actually upgraded my account with all of the ROI that I made, and that totaled $40,000, and I had commissions that I made, and I kept that in the system, and I upgraded my account. My trading balance is $90,000, so I actually lost $90,200. Again, the receivership doesn't care about any of that. As far as they're concerned, those are just numbers on the screen. They're looking for simply money that you put into Novatech minus money that you've taken out, and whatever that difference is considered either a profit or a loss, and it would classify you as a net winner or a net loser. So once the receivership has the two category of members, they tend to file a lawsuit against all of the big net winners in an effort to seize their assets and their funds. As the receivership works to find this information, he or she is being paid per hour for the research and rectification that they're looking to do. This can be upwards of $500 to $850 or more per hour. The receivership also bills the cost of any of these fees and the experts that they need to hire to continue collecting potential funds. The cost for billable hours and hiring these experts is actually deducted from any funds that are recovered or seized during this process. In this example, it would likely be that the 1- and 2-star ambassadors of the company would be included in one civil or class action lawsuit. And those, of course, are people who have withdrawn more than they've deposited. If they are classified as a 1, 2, or 2-star ambassador and they're not net winners, they would likely not be included in this batch. The receivership also begins to search for any assets that may have been falsely sold or transferred during this time by large net winners that they may have done in an effort to avoid potential seizures or liens against those properties. Next, the receivership begins to file civil lawsuits against all of the remaining net winners on the list to collect any funds that they can from these individuals as well. And this process of collecting funds and seizing funds is actually called a clawback. The receivership may also file judgments to collect, which means that we could see bank account freezes, we could see garnished wages, we could see lien on properties, and even more to ensure that as many funds are collected as possible. In fact, I've seen the FBI actually go to someone's house and collect their computer, all of their devices, etc. They will make sure that they collect as much as they possibly can. For those outside of the U.S., the receivership looks to work with outside government agencies to find and seize assets from those local net winners as well. As funds are seized and placed into government hands, the receivership is tasked with dispersing the funds to those who are classified and verified as net losers. The receivership begins to deduct all of their billable hours, the cost of hiring the proper people to do research and search, and all associated fees from the funds that are collected during this process. So what does this actually mean for true net losers? Those who are determined to be net losers can expect to receive a check or payment to help alleviate some of their losses. Now, how much this check is depends on how long and how difficult the process was to collect the funds, since all of the fees are actually deducted from the total collected fund. The remaining funds are then split between all net losers as the collection happens. Now, this may not necessarily be evenly, but the receiver will have a way to determine what's given to each user. So how long does this process usually take to complete, and how much can a person reasonably expect? This process has always taken several years. In fact, one of the opportunities that I was a part of, it took about a decade for them to complete this process. With respect to payments, I've seen as little as 1% to as much as 25% of the net loss over the course of 5 to 8 years of resolution. So here's what that looks like in picture form. So we have a person on the left who, if we look at the low end of 1%, that would equate to $1 per 100 loss. And the person on the right here, which is on the higher percentage that I've seen, is 25%. So that would equate to $25 paid to that net loser per $100 loss. So what does this mean for net winners? Net winners should be prepared for decisions that have to be made. Depending on how much of a profit you made, you may have a few options. The first is to simply just pay the receiver in full for what they say you owe. So you cut the check and you're good to go. The second is to make arrangements for payment plans if it is available. Now, in some cases, as time progresses, I've seen people get offered, slight discounts on the money that is owed because the receiver is looking to wrap everything up and they're looking to finalize the funds that they collect. The third is to seek legal counsel and prepare for an actual battle. So just because the receiver says you owe something doesn't necessarily mean that you have to accept that. You can, in fact, fight in court and seek legal counsel in order to do that. So what does this mean for the owners and founders of Novatech? Depending on the scale of the crime, if there was one, we can expect that the founders will face fines and even possible jail time if convicted, and that jail time and fines can be extensive. However, the owners and even the net winners, the larger net winners especially, can choose to fight in court. All of the prior slides hinge on choosing not to fight or losing any court battle that they do choose to have. I felt that given that we've not seen any fight or reply to prior cease and refrain notices, that it's imperative for everyone to understand the worst case scenario in this situation. So what should all members be doing right now? If this happens, everyone should already know exactly what you would be classified as, whether that be a net loser or a net winner. Prepare all of your financial records and gather all details from your e-wallet, your order history, and even your external exchanges. Doing this will allow you to prove to the receivership any discrepancies they may have that can potentially leave you at a greater loss, and that's whether you're a net winner or a net loser. Novatech sent out emails confirming each deposit and upgrade. Pay special attention to the emails that say it was a deposit from an external source. Here's how you can tell the difference. So you can look up in your email that is associated with Novatech, thank you for your order. It's going to have your name. And if you notice here on the screen under the payment section, it'll actually say coin payments. If you were a part of Novatech for quite some time, we were using coin payments as the payment processor. So any external actual payments will show coin payments as the source, okay? And if you did an upgrade into your account using funds that were already earned, it would actually show that this was an upgrade from an e-wallet. So here's the difference here. Now go into your e-wallet and print out all of your transactions from the start of your Novatech journey through today, and then be sure to keep these updated as the weeks go by. This keeps all of your records accurate. You will need to keep records of your bonus account history as well as your trading account history, and so I took some screenshots here. If you go to your e-wallet, you'll notice that there's a drop down here, so you'll see trading account and bonus account, and it's a little hard to see, but the middle icon here on this e-wallet page is a printer. So all of your transactions will show up. You can sort them and make them 500 per page, and you may need to do this a couple of times. You may need to go through all the pages depending on how many transactions you have and how many transactions you have and how many pages you have. But once you hit that print option, you'll see a button here that shows up that says print. You'll click that. Now, if you don't have a computer, don't worry about it. You can actually save these documents to your devices as a PDF document. And so here's how it pops up on a computer here. You'll see 17 pages you could save as PDF. Be sure that you're printing all pages. You can see up to 500 transactions per page. If you have more than one page, you will have to save that PDF, click the next page, and repeat the process until all of the pages have been saved. You can also find all of your order history by clicking on funding and then clicking on upgrade and order history. Save all of these records of your order history. Clicking on each will show you how much and from where each order was made. Export all of your exchange transactions since the beginning of your Novatech journey up until today to an Excel sheet if you can for reference, and make sure to highlight each of the Novatech transactions. This includes deposits and withdrawals. This should match what is in your Novatech back office. Remember, the receivership was not a member of the opportunity, and you will know how to read the ledger likely better than they would. Accurate records help to ensure that they are not making any mistakes. If they start to freeze accounts or assets, they won't care which assets are from Novatech and which assets are from jobs or other opportunities. Their job is to collect as much as they can according to the numbers that they have on record. Now, of course, this is all hypothetical. We could see Novatech come through and everyone be made whole, but I again wanted to make sure that I put this information out there so that you can prepare as of right now for anything that may come that is close to this scenario. Now, if you'd like to do your homework on receiverships, litigation, and how they typically work, you can look at the following companies. BitConnect, Bernie Madoff had a scam as well, USI Tech, Zeke Rewards, MiniFX is a newer one, and Oasis International Group is a newer one as well. So follow these companies, read all of the litigation, read all of the documents from the receiverships, see exactly what you can reasonably expect, but hopefully you found some value in this video. If you did, make sure to like and subscribe. Each like helps me understand which content is helpful for you so that I can actually record more of that type of content. And if you like this video, you may also like the next video that pops up on the screen. But again, my name is Marquita. I'm with Team TRM. And as I always say, I'll see you at the top or not. You decide. I'll see you in the next video. Take care.